It's 2 p.m. Thank you. Welcome, everybody, for coming to our part of the leadership series, The Role of the Secretary. We are very blessed today to have Yvonne Hart from Region 1, who has been highly recommended by many, many, many. And I'm Julia Thorn. And just to give you a good laugh, this is something that my husband just bought for me, and something that identifies me as secretary. Welcome. And our Madam President is here. We're going to cover with you the major parts of the role of the secretary. Our first speaker will be our wonderful Yvonne Hart. And then the second half, I will be covering some things about digitizing your work and using the computer. So with that being said, go ahead, Yvonne Hart.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Julia. Welcome, everyone. Julia and I are sort of same goals, but different approaches. She's more of the technology, and I'm more the paper and pen kind of person. And so I'm going to go with that approach on what I'm telling you. I had one person tell me years and years ago that all the minutes had to do was, write down the topic, what the action was, and then who was responsible. So that's pretty much a bare bones kind of thing. I have a bit of a different philosophy. I think it should be in the minutes, should give you a feel of the meeting, inform those who are not present of what is going on so they are aware of what they might need to be doing. And as a reminder for those who were there to actually be reminded of what their responsibilities are. So I guess my idea is that if you read the minutes, you should maybe sort of want to come and get involved kind of attitude. Julia will talk quite a bit about how you can distribute it. Our local sends out a newsletter before the meeting, and we always include the minutes there. In the region, we send them out over email. And so we have quite an extensive email list and use that, and of course, for the board. We have a policy that said that secretary will get out the minutes to the president within 30 days, and she will get that out to the board members and other members within 2 weeks. So that's sort of our guidelines of what's going on. In your local, in your region, in our region, we just list the locals that are present, sometimes the number of minutes from there, and we keep the roster, but that doesn't show up in the actual minutes. You want to write down the details of what's going on, but you don't want to get into, a lot of minutia kind of thing. So you can talk about what is discussed, the issue, what is discussed, but you don't need all the details. If you have a speaker, you might want to do a little bit more, maybe a bullet list of their high points of their talk. Again, trying to encourage people that didn't come to both get informed about what was going on and show them what they missed, so maybe they'll show up the next time. A lot of the minutes that I write are in paragraph form. We also do things sort of jump around sometimes from topic to topic. So my minutes may show arrows going up and down where something came up and then it came up again, and then I combine those when I write the minutes. If it's something really important, I put big stars on it. If I've got a question about something, I have question marks out in the margin or whatever, so that when I go back through, I can talk to the president or talk to whoever I might need to clarify something before I write them up. Once they're written, then I send those to the president, and she sends, and sometimes I send them out. But she usually sends those out to everybody. They may go out. We have a great legislative chairman who has a very extensive email list. And so sometimes before our next regional meeting, we may send out that minutes, or the president may write a short newsletter, and then that goes out encouraging people to come along with the information that the presidents send out. Obviously, you have to make sure you get any motion that is made exactly right. Who made the motion, who seconded it, and then, of course, whether it passed or failed. And then the follow-up is the responsibility in there. Is it the president's doing it? Is it the director doing it? Who has the responsibility of follow-through? And then that's kind of becomes like your old business at your next meeting on your agenda. I always end our minutes with our next meeting if we know it. That's particularly true of the board minutes and of the local minutes, but the region, a lot of times, since we only meet twice a year, we don't know when that next meeting is going to be. But as much information as you can get out to people, the better off you are. I always go over the minutes for the last meeting or two before our next meeting and jot down any things that might need to be a reminder to the president or to maybe a chairman that was supposed to do something. Might be contacting the speaker. We share that responsibility, so that depends. Other things that we do in our region is that we do have a grants and aid kind of program, along with a strategic plan for membership. And sometimes we refer to those things in the minutes, and everyone that's on the board has a copy of those. We also have local policies and bylaws in our region, and everyone gets a copy of those. And if they are amended, then they get a copy of them, any kind of changes in those. We also have community or committee responsibilities, and we list those in there so that if when we get a new chairperson that or member on that committee, that everybody is sure they know, exactly what their responsibilities are. As I mentioned, we have this extensive legislative contact list run by our legislative chair, Rick Manheim. And anytime we need to reach a bigger group of people with information, we can always use his list as well as what he sends out for, contacting legislators and so forth. I guess the main thing that we do in our area is that we try to share the load. And if somebody wants to step up and we, take a position or help out here or there, or I'll volunteer for something, or somebody else will volunteer. And then that goes into the minutes also, so we all know who's responsible for those various activities. I guess that's the main things I've got. You want to make your minutes informative, but not boring. So there's sort of that fine line in there. And I think each group of people sort of have a different, what I want to say, expectation maybe of what they want in their minutes, and you just adjust to what's going on there. I know that sometimes I get the comment, well, I didn't get enough. And I always keep my written minutes also, or my notes, and keep that with the minutes for at least several months in case somebody who wasn't there, somebody has a question, what happened here, that I do have the details that didn't maybe make it into the minutes. So that's basically what I do, and hopefully that gives you all some information and food for thought.
Very good. Thank you. If you take a look at your calendar item, you'll see that we've created an attachment. What I love about talking with Yvonne is that she gives me a firm foundation of basic elements, and this is pretty much how I've exploded a lot of my interpretation about the role. This is because I'm currently president of Carteret RSP. What I see the role of the secretaries being as something really exciting, because we are part now of an opportunity to help the president further his goals. Your minutes are of utmost importance because it's a historical record of all the decisions and actions. And that's the reason why the names of the guests and those in attendance, I include those in my secretary's minutes. The meeting event with unfinished and new business, of course, and the highlights of the committee reports. The names of the members who move items to the table and those who second those motions, and the results of the votes and the decision. At any point in time of a meeting, the president, if he or the presiding officer, if there is no parliamentarian, will ask the secretary to restate the motion that's on the floor. So you want to be able to assist in that leadership aspect. Archiving the records, I think, is so important. Archiving everything, not limited to minutes, but also keeping track of the reports and publications. Something that I learned from Dorsey Harris's Zoom leadership YouTube, when he did this a couple of years back for NCRSP, was to assist the president with the agenda. In other words, putting it together, making it uniform for her or him, and then publishing those minutes. From the digital and virtual world, I see that publishing the minutes, reports, and newsletters to members pretty much part of the communications, but sometimes your communications chair may need assistance, such as doing the mass email. A new device, a new organ that's now called is GMAS, very economic, very low in price, easy to use, so that you could blast out and personalize people's emails. And of course, the snail mail aspect to members who don't have email, but that's a perfect opportunity too, because you could slip in hard copies of the year at a glance, or a brochure, or newsletters, or things that might entice a homebound member to maybe get a ride and come to your meeting. Publishing on the web, social media posting, so exciting to use that aspect too as a way of publishing your information. It doesn't have to be the minutes. It could be, as Miss Yvonne says, a summary that will send out and highlight what's been covered, so you could entice greater attendance. Sharing and promoting unit, regional, state publications and resources is part of the secretary job to do, as the communications or president might need assistance in sending out and sharing to the membership. The leadership accountability, I think that we are so key as a secretary to help the president keep and maintain governing documents, make them available, make sure that we've got the latest, most updated rules and bylaws from NCRSP, and making it available and accessible to our members. The meeting notes, I'm just going to, forgive me if I repeat some of the aspects that Yvonne elucidated, but the names of the motions, the people who initiate those motions and the seconds, and the wording of the motion, and votings and outcome. I love that our convention had that table of main motions that also help indicate what kind of voting is necessary for a piece of business to be passed into official decision-making process. And for processing the minutes, some of the methods, and I'm going to elucidate on what Yvonne said. If you use the president's agenda as an organizing structure of the minutes, of course, making adjustments to how things actually occur in the course of the meeting. and then filling out that skeleton with the items of your notes. And you could be as detailed or as broad as your membership demands, as Miss Yvonne said. And then what I love to do too with my minutes is I'm not the secretary, but she gives me the minutes, and then I put in the group photos, I put in URLs, I put in images from the meeting to make a sort of mini newsletter, as Miss Yvonne described, making it enticing, again, to invite participation, arouse interest, and to attract involvement. And then, of course, saving your minutes as Word and PDF. I'm probably already preaching to the choir if you already do this. But if you share your PDF with your executives for additions and corrections, rather than in Word form, then any kind of additional URLs and illustrations and so forth are going to stay put and anchored. But if you do share it as a Google document with your executives, then your executives could also add in any changes, additions, or corrections. And what's so really wonderful about a Google Doc is that it will track who corrected what for the input, when that correction was made, so that all people involved in that Google document style of your minutes can be seen, can be showed for the involvement. Then, of course, after you finalize your copy, you're going to save it as a Word or PDF. The PDF, again, is the easiest form with which to transmit those minutes to your members. If you're going email, if you're posting on the web, on your website, or if you're doing snail mail, you can make it as high resolution as possible. And also you can adjust your usage of ink when you're printing it out. Now, of course, that ingredient, posting your minutes to the website, you probably want to wait until they've already been approved. But in our case, for our RSP, we have the minutes on there in the website so that the members who may have attended the meeting can peruse it, evaluate it, and decide whether or not there's any corrections, amendments, or additions. If you get those corrections, amendments, and amendments before the next meeting, then you could work with them. It cuts down in time where the president has to stop and gather up all the corrections. But if you do gain that consensus electronically, it could save your president or presiding officer a lot of business time. Your members will love it because you won't have such a long meeting. Your president's complete approval and amendment and process, of course, takes place in formalizing those minutes at that next meeting. And then sharing the corrected minutes and changes, if any. On your handout, which I have attached to your web calendar item on the NCRSP calendar, this form is also available on your forms and resources on your website calendar too. And I have a kind of step-by-step to, if you have problems or not quite sure in how to do the editing process, you have a feature on your Word area that allows you to do the editing part. If you've updated to the new Word form, that means that the buttons have changed and it's hard to find something unless you've gone in manually to put it automatically on your editing ribbon. So the new handy dandy search window, you put in your keyword, grammar check, spelling, and you've got the choice right there and it's accessible to you. Now for the saving in PDF process, you can do it step 1, going to your file page, go to Home, and then select Save as Adobe PDF, and then use that second part. The second part is to name your document and select the place where you're saving it. I'll get to the raised hands at the very end. I'm just going to try to get this as covered as much as possible. Your sample minutes, I've inserted a URL link for it too, so you could take a look at it. At my sample minutes, this was the minutes that I published for one of my RSP meetings. And again, it is like a mini newsletter. You probably don't want to be as elaborate, but I'm trying to make it, as Miss Yvonne said, interesting for those who had missed the meeting as well. So making it into the minutes from there, a mini newsletter. The secretary also can assist the president in doing correspondence. That is your recruitment letters, thank you letters, greeting letters, congratulation letters, and so forth. The sample greeting cards product. If you've ever been to a meeting where you've had to pass around a get well or birthday card to people and it's hit or miss, if you create 3D images of your members so that signatures so that you can make greeting cards, I know it always made my heart warm whenever I got a greeting card, a get well card with signatures on it. You can help your president in making products such as name tags. You can help your president also by in your communications chair by drafting newspaper articles, and also always include at the end whom to contact if you want to join. And other related secretary products could include helping the communications person with marketing products. And again, on your own handout, you'll be able to press the view and see the flip book of that, and also help the secretary communications person with a newsletter. You could also help your president or communications person with a calendar. You can also help with the memorials, or help the memorials chair with posting nice memorabilia about your members who have passed away. And also you could help by making pictorial galleries. But that's just a short summation of some of these things. And now, your questions. Yvonne, do you see some hands that are raised? I'm going to stop sharing, so maybe I'll have a chance. Is that Pat? Pat, is that you? Pat! Pat, go ahead with your question, ma'am.
She muted herself when you call the name.
Miss Pat?
Pat, you got your hand up.
Pat, you may unmute. I can't hear
Okay.
the question. Hi.
I came on late. Is this one, is it on video that I can go back and look at the beginning of it later?
I'm going to make a video of it, yes.
Okay.
Because Miss Yvonne explained a lot of essential things. Also, there's a way of creating a transcript of it if you use your recorder. Miss Leslie.
She's muted.
Hi, I'm coming. I just wanted to actually give a suggestion of something that I do. I use the plastic folders, that the kids use for reports and things, and put everything for a given month in one of these. So The agenda, the minutes, anything else that we might have for that month is in one of these for
Very,
each month's materials, just so that, just the way that I organize things, I thought I might share that.
very good.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I use paper clips, but that would be even better.
Excellent.
Oh, Julia, one thing I didn't mention, I think is very important that a secretary does is keep an up-to-date contact list, particularly for your board members, whether at your local or your region. And we don't put addresses on anymore because hardly anybody uses, the snail mail. But we use the name, their position, their phone number, and their email. And that gets updated, anytime there's a change, but at least every 2 years as we do the rotation of officers and board members.
Yes, thank you. One of the other products that I make is the handbook. I create a handbook, and it has the birthday, not the year, but the birthday of members, so that people could also send greeting cards and so forth. And the handbook I also include with governing documents and pictures of who's who in NCRSP. I'm sorry. And there was another hand.
I was trying to raise my hand, but it says I'm waving. It's like I can't see the raised hand thing.
Oh, I see you. You're waving your hi. This is our Madam President.
Yeah. Oh, I see. On this one, it's got a whole separate thing for raised hands. Oh, they must have updated it. I don't have that, I think, on mine. Mine comes under reaction. Okay, I got it. But this is my question. How many of you all, who sends out the notice for the meeting? In like a local or a
Well,
region?
what I do is I do GMAS, postcards, and snail mail. Well, I mail all of my members because it's cheaper to do the postcard rate rather than have a full card or newsletter. And the GMAS and the phone call, dial my phone, is also a cheap way of, you could dial as many as 200 people for about $45 for each event. That it also has a texting feature as well, if you wish. And I see
Call to it, dial my phone?
dial my phone. And they keep on coming out with sales and cheaper rates. It used to be you had to buy your credits in advance, but now they have a pay-as-you-go plan. Miss Joyce, hi. Miss Joyce has a question or tip to give us.
No, I was just responding when she says about who sends out the notices for the meeting.
Oh, okay.
I would like to hear more people. I would like to hear more people to get an idea.
Yes, ma'am.
So Joyce, do you send them out or who sends them out? Do you all?
I send it out.
So you're the secretary or the president?
I'm the secretary.
Okay, very good, okay. Maybe everybody should raise their hand if they're the secretary and then if they send everything out. You know how to raise your hand down below in the black? It says raise hand. You can just raise your hand and participate.
If you're a secretary, please raise your hands. Leslie is, Dr. Georgette is.
So keep your hand up if you send all the information out for the meetings. So you kind of assist the president, I guess, in that. Well, looks like nobody does. So I guess the president does and all the other levels. Well, there's Emily. Emily, what are you trying to tell us?
I usually send the correspondence for our local.
Okay, so you email out about the meeting and
Pardon me?
you email information about the meetings coming up.
Yes. Mhm.
That helps the president a lot.
Oh, yes.
That does. Very good. Very good. I'm cowardly about asking people to do something. That's the reason why my job description keeps on getting larger and larger.
I think I mentioned in Haywood County, our minutes go out with a newsletter before every meeting. So that's 5 meetings a
Very
year. So
nice.
those two things go out together. And then also when we're doing, the membership drive, we, like Julia, I think you had mentioned, you can, send in a list of new retirees with them with phone numbers or contact information. You can send out membership forms like that. I think Sid had the membership, that 10 reasons, and then had a membership form on the back. You can send that out with them in the fall and help with, recruiting that way. So you're contacting every member. Now in our region, we just use the email, but in the local, we mail everything to everybody.
Very good. Very good. One other thing, if you have the money or inclination, I pay for the postage, so it won't be part of my treasurer's responsibility, but I put a stamped envelope addressed to NCRSP together with the brochure and the blank membership form and the list of recent retirees so that people could, if they know that person personally, he or she could make a one-to-one contact. When we were blessed to have Miss Linda come and visit our RSP in November, she got a sample packet of that.
Another thing some of our people do is buy those stamps online that are at a discounted price. And that saves you a lot of money. You're not paying that 60 some cents, you're paying maybe 30, 35 cents. So you might investigate that also.
Thank you.
I think you got that idea from Sid. Then we need to be careful about where we're ordering them from. Do we have to be concerned? I keep getting to be a victim of a scam, so. We'll get the information from Sid about where we need to call or email or whatever, wherever you found it on the web, or Yvonne, why don't you share that information in the chat? So we're passing out information that we know is accurate.
Very good. Well, dear ones, if you have any
Sheila
questions,
has her hand up. Sheila had her hand up.
oh, I'm sorry. Someone has heard.
Oh,
Hi,
yeah.
Sheila.
Hi. It's good to see everybody. I was just going to say that since we don't have any officers and we haven't had any complete officers, I've been serving as the president. I normally send out the memo, and we've only had a meeting or two the last couple of years, but we've only had a couple of responses. And I do normally send out some kind of makeshift newsletter to let them know what's been going on as far as the Cumberland County region, the regional, and also the state. I let them know that I went to the convention and the basic things that were covered and so forth. But so far, I haven't gotten any response. But I am going to the banquet, the retiree banquet. I'm going to set up my booth. I have everything ready. I've got door prizes and so forth, and a little raffle. I've been given permission from the superintendent to do this, and I'm hoping to get some new interest.
Sounds
Sheila,
good.
that's
And thank you for all the ideas.
Miss Leslie.
I don't know if this is the same thing that somebody else was talking about, but our president, Barbara Anderson, when she's notifying everybody, she sends an email a day or two before our meetings with the minutes and the agenda. And then she also uses what I think is called PhoneVite.
Yeah.
Where it's an automatic program that she has tapped into. I don't know if there's a charge for it. I'll try and find out from her. And it sends, she records a message and we all get it. So everybody gets a message saying, hope you all are having a good week. Our meeting is tomorrow afternoon, or whatever needs to be sent out. I think it's called PhoneVite if somebody wants to investigate it.
Thank you. Well, what price compare with dial my phone? Miss Pat, you're next.
Miss Leslie, I agree with you. I think it's the cousin to Paul Multiplier. our church, it was called Multiply, whereas we put in our phone numbers. And that's how we receive our announcements weekly. So it goes out to everyone at the same time. And if you don't answer, it goes to voicemail. The only thing is that you have only a certain amount of time to speak. And once your time is up, you're cut off.
With Dial My Phone, you could also, it also has a feature, if you press 9, the person could hear the message again, and it will also leave a recording.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, because the other one doesn't do that. I've gotten it and then it's done and I didn't write it down. It ran fast enough.
Okay,
And
I'm
what
going
is the
to have
possibility
one
of
last
someone
share.
joining us?
My last share then with you is our CCRSP website. I put the agenda together with the minutes so that the people could see what had been planned and what was actually executed. And this allows people, oh, you also see within my agenda images of the postcards that I had sent out to members. So it also always has our QR code too, of course, but items, again, products that you could help your president. I'm so honored and thank you for letting me become NCRSP secretary, because I really do want to help out and do what I can. I'm so excited and very thankful for being your secretary. So please email me questions, email me any kind of request for documents, and I will put them out to you as soon as possible. If there's no other questions, then I will go ahead and process the recording and put it out on your NCRSP website.
Thank you, everyone, for
Thank
tuning
you.
in.
Thank you, Yvonne. Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone, for coming. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all for the valuable information. Got some good tips today.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Yes, thank you.
Love you. Love you. Bye-bye.